Hey, you get us with that one.
And we're live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's the summer and it's not rainy where you are, I hope, while where we are, it is. Thank you for joining on this special event today hosted by the Blockchain Game Alliance. Today, we are really happy to host this particular event with DappRadar. It will be a live valuation presentation. So you might wonder what that is. So do I. So we'll be watching that in a few minutes. Before, I'd like to introduce the Blockchain Game Alliance for those of you who are not familiar. Here we go. So we are an organization that's promoted to really committed to promote the adoption of blockchain technology within the video game industry. We count more than 230 members and are actively growing and trying to highlight all the different use case for applying blockchain within the video game, such as NFTs, decentralized technology, DeFi, DAOs, and other ways to create, publish, play games, create strong community around them. We provide an open forum for individuals and companies to share knowledge, to collaborate, to do networking through the different tools, to get business opportunity, other collaboration opportunities, participate into working groups to push as well some standards. We are here as well to represent blockchain games company, more visibility for our members, particularly during our demo days, and of course to advocate for the use of blockchain within the broader game industry. I'd like to give a specific big thanks to our sponsors. So AMD, Antler Interactive, Splinterlands, Ubisoft, Illuvium, Zaya, One Way Block, Fear, Mobox, Star Atlas, Gameloft, Vulcan Forge, Arc.io, Non-Fungible, Digital Entertainment Asset Group, Gamerash, TAP, IOI, TriumphX, Drops, Algorand, INRKX, Boston Protocol, Chromia, Polygon, Nexttype, Yushi, Nimoka Brands, Coin Tribune, Galaxy Interactive, Consensus, Tezos, Arcanoon, Polkadot, and DappRadar, who will be hosting this event today. A big thanks for their extra support to the industry in general and the Blockchain Game Alliance more specifically. As I mentioned before, we have more than 230 members now. They come from various backgrounds, whether it's in games and gaming companies, change and protocol, developer solution, esport, press, media, investors, marketplaces, and many more. We do run events quite actively, almost once a week, sometimes twice. Those events could be interviews, workshops, the monthly new members presentation, various panels across several topics, the very popular demo day also once a month, where you get to see the product, services, and game directly in action and engage with the creators and more. And without any further ado, I'd like to welcome today Modesta and Patrick, who will be running this event today. So, and if you're interested to join the Blockchain Game Alliance or follow what we do, you can find us on Twitter, on Medium, Discord, and Telegram. Hello, Patrick. Hello, Modesta.
Hello. Hello, Sebastian. Hello, everyone.
So the stage is yours.
Perfect. Hello, I'm Patrick. I'm the COO at DappRadar. I'm going to be sharing my screen. Let's see if that works. 1 second. So we at DappRadar, we started about 3 years ago, and we were started by our two co-founders, Skumantas and Dragos. We initially started aggregating smart contracts and displaying or making it visible, transparent, what kind of activity there was going on in smart contracts in these decentralized applications. So if you go to our homepage, and I'm trying to share this right now, there we go. That's very much what you see when you get to DappRadar, and I'm just clicking through here. So you can see that there are games like Alien Worlds, Upland, X Infinity, and so forth across many different blockchains, DeFi applications across different blockchains, which we rank. We list them and we rank them. We have a nice overview about total value locked on decentralized finance across Ethereum, so the Ethereum blockchain, Binance Smart Chain, and a couple of others. You can see here that we list decentralized application across a variety of different chains, so Ethereum, EOS, Tron, Ontology, but also the ones that have really been making the headlines this year, like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and some which we are expecting to go stronger over the next couple of months and years, like Flow, Tezos, Avalanche, Near, and so forth. So yeah, you basically, if you want to know what's happening in the world of decentralized applications, you come to us and you'll get some transparency. We've always been very much involved in NFTs, so non-fungible tokens. So if you click on our NFT overview, what you can see here is that we rank the various different collections. So obviously, NFT in games like X Infinity, and then you see, I was about to say, the usual suspects. So NFT collections or games that are using NFT, and what you can see here is how much NFT volume is being traded in these various dApps or these NFT collections. So you see here clearly the leader overall, X Infinity, with nearly $30 million in value of NFTs being shifted from left to right. You see the amount of traders, so the amount of people, or you could say wallets, involved in this trading activity. So you see a whopping more than 23,000 people involved. But you also see, I was about to say smaller ones. You see collections like CryptoPunks. We know there are just 10,000 of those. And within the last 24 hours, just 34 people were trading CryptoPunks, which basically tells you about the value of those. So that, you know, Axes seem to be offer on average of a lower value, or especially if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, so average lower value compared to CryptoPunks with an average trade value considerably higher. And you see that also here in the amount of sales. And if I go into the NFT sales, you can see which are the biggest events, the biggest NFTs itself, which were traded over the last 24 hours on a variety of marketplaces. Crunch, I'm not sure what that is, for being very honest, but we certainly know what Meebits are. So this
Patrick, sorry to interrupt. I think if you don't mind zooming in slightly, because the numbers look really tiny on the screen. So I think that could be wonderful. Yes, that's better. Thank you so much.
No worries. So you can see here a Meebit has been traded 5 hours ago for about $150,000. And you can see which was the selling wallet and which was the receiving wallet. And if you, I'm just going to click this one here, this wallet. If you click on this one, a new window is opening up, and you can have a peek into this wallet. So you can see the content of this specific wallet. And I'm going to go on NFTs. I'm going to explain this in more detail in a second. But we were looking for this specific Meebit, which was traded. And I believe it was this one here. And you can see, yeah, last trading price, $150,000. So it has ended up in this wallet here. So if you click on this, you see the entire wallet address. But you can clearly see that this wallet holds also lots of other collections. You see proud owner of 40 CryptoPunks, which is quite impressive. And you see that we are valuing these CryptoPunks at these 40 CryptoPunks at around $6.23 million US, which is obviously a very impressive price. Why that is the case? Because, well, this looks like a zombie punk. We value that with $1.36 million US. So that's our estimation, 1.36. The floor price for, and I'm just going to rattle through this, probably lots of unknown terms that I'm going to be using, but I'm going to come back to this in a second and go a bit more in depth, and Modesta will do the same. I just want to provide a general overview. So we estimate the price of this CryptoPunk at around 1.36 million. The floor price of CryptoPunks in general, so the lowest CryptoPunk that you can buy these days at around $37,000, $38,000. And this specific one, the last time that it has been traded, was at a price of around 19,000. So you might ask yourself, why are these people, when it was sold the last time for 19,000, valuing it right now at 1.36 million? And we'll get to that. But I wanted to give you first a little intro, a little overview how DappRadar as a platform is really a powerful tool for discovering, for navigating in this new world of NFTs. I'm going to jump back where we came from initially. So we came from the top sales, so the highest sales within the last 24 hours. And we just had a deep dive in this Meebit one. We saw it was sold for 150,000 from this wallet to that wallet. And then we drilled down in this wallet. And you can do exactly the same for all other NFTs. Here you see an autoglyph, very famous NFT from Lava Labs, another CryptoPunk. And you see a couple of NFTs from the Art Blocks collection, very famous in NFT circles as well. So yeah, so this one was about listing, showing where you can find on DappRadar the most valuable NFT trades themselves within the last 24 hours. And you can obviously do that for the last 7 days. You can see that there was, that was a pretty crazy one. Last week, there was a Meebit that was sold for 2.1 million, and then we had a CryptoPunk for nearly 400,000 and so forth. You can do that for 30 days and so forth. I'm going to go back to the NFT overview page where we came from. And again, we were drilling down into this one a second ago. We're having the overview of all collections right here, according to the trading volume. And you can drill down, and I think we have, we are tracking about 60 different collections. What you see here on the right side is we're not just only tracking individual NFTs or collections, games that are offering NFTs, but we are also tracking marketplaces. So you see currently the largest NFT marketplace out there is the Axie Infinity own marketplace with these 23,000 traders over the last 24 hours. The next one is OpenSea, arguably the largest independent open one. And you see the CryptoPunks own, you see Sorare has their own marketplace, and Rarible, another independent one. And I'm going to go to the overview here as well. You see that NBA Top Shot has its own one. Atomic Market, I believe that's an NFT marketplace on different blockchain, on Wax, and so forth. Avagotchi, if I'm not completely mistaken, on Polygon. Exactly. So if you come to DappRadar on our homepage, you just click on NFTs, and you end up seeing these different rankings. Now I'm going to jump into portfolio. So here you can track either your own portfolio or whatever portfolio you want to have a look at. So you click up here. These are lots of portfolios which you are following, and you can type in one wallet address, which you then can have a look at, can have a peek at. So if you have friends or so and you want to follow their wallet activity, you can certainly do that here. So this is still the wallet that we looked at a couple of minutes ago, the one which bought that quite valuable, this MEBIT for $150,000. In general, our portfolio tracker gives you not just only the opportunity to see non-fungible tokens, NFTs, but also it gives you a good overview about the cryptocurrencies. So you can see that this wallet here in specific holds 0.07 ETH, not that much, quite a bit more wrapped ETH. So this is considerable. That's nearly $80,000 in wrapped ETH. That allows for some trading, for some speculation, and lots of other currencies, lots of other tokens, Decentraland, Metaverse, and so forth. Let's see if there are any DeFi activities. No, there aren't. If this wallet would be investing, staking into any pools, you would be seeing that. But you can follow which were the dApps, so the decentralized applications, where this this wallet has had its most activities in the past. So you can see that there were about 4 million so crypto assets, NFTs worth $4.4 million sent into the CryptoPunks smart contract and received 6.1. And gas spent around nearly $6,000 by trading, by doing so, and so forth. And you can see, yeah, this wallet is pretty active on Super Rare. It looks like this means that just some MEBITs were minted but not traded. Quite active at buying and selling on both marketplaces from Rarible and OpenSea, and so forth. Yeah, and you see in total, this wallet since inception has spent about $16,000 trading. And you see here the logos of the various decentralized applications where it has been trading. I'm going to go back finally to NFTs again. We've been here for a second to go. You see the overview, which are the NFTs. You see quite a lot of NFTs coming from Super Rare. In total, about more than 500 NFTs. Total value of all NFTs about $8 million. That's respectable, I would say. That's certainly a significant amount of money. So I'll give you an example. What we're currently working on, and now we're coming to NFT valuations, to our main topic. We have an NFT value estimator. So right now, we're just doing that for CryptoPunks. So this is a tool that we have built over the last couple of months. If you type in, let's go to CryptoPunks, Lava Labs. If you go to CryptoPunks and you pick, I don't know, this one here, let's say this lady here, she's currently being offered at $74,000, so nearly 40 ETH. I'm gonna copy and paste the number, 2978. I'm gonna go to our value estimator, type that in, and check the price. Magic happens. So we are saying that this CryptoPunk here should be worth around $85,200. Currently, it is being offered for 74,000. So it's going to be interesting to see how quickly this punk is going to be moving. If it's going to sit there for ages, probably the price is too high, or there is no appetite on the market for this punk at that price. If it moves very quickly, then you could be saying the price was too low. So looks like the current owner is trying to sell it, yeah, at around 75,000. We value it at 85,000. The quicker it sells, the more right we might be perceived. The slower it sells, the wronger our price assumption might be perceived. So we'll see how quickly this punk is going to move over the next couple of hours. Now that's what we currently do. We offer this, and this is built on our own algorithm that we have developed over the last couple of months by following crypto prices, by following the different attributes, the different features of this NFT collection. Yeah, that's in general what we do at DappRadar, the tools that we offer. We hope to add more categories to this value estimator over the next couple of months. And if you go back now, you might understand a little bit, it might be easier for you to understand. So estimated price, we just estimated another one. The floor price, I can go back. If you go to CryptoPunks and you can see that the cheapest, they also have it up here, I believe. Current lowest price, here you go. So the cheapest you can get a CryptoPunk these days is at $37,000. And it's going to be probably this chap here. That's the one that you can get at $37,000. So going back to our tools, a zombie, which is, I mean, there are just a few out there. And that's the reason why we estimate that price really that high. And I think the last ones which have been sold were always at around $1 million. General floor price for all CryptoPunks, 37,000. The last time this specific one was sold at 19,000. So you can see that if this is going to sell at its current estimated price, the current owner is going to net a really nice profit. Yeah, and we do that across all. So this one is estimated at $500,000, 100,000, but we also have the cheaper ones down here, just 67,000. You can see a nice gold chain here. I think that's a feature that is just available 150. There are just 150,000 of those. Sorry, 150 out there, just 150, and that's the reason that this one is not at a floor price of 37,000, but 67,000 because it has a golden chain. Yeah, how does that sound so far? Any questions from the audience? Anything, Serena,
yes.
Luis, you want to add? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually a question from someone in the audience, from Marcus. He says, does valuation include potential or realized utility functions?
So what we do here is we look at previous sales. So for those golden chains, we look at how much if the golden chain is the most valuable feature, we try to first identify the most valuable features in that specific NFT. Once we have identified it, and I would guess for these 3 in a row, because they all have golden chain, I would guess that most valuable feature are the gold chains. We see what was over the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, the average sales price for a CryptoPunk with a golden chain. We also add if there was what the trend line is, if it's going down, if it's going up, and that's how we get to these price valuations. And it's basically based on past pricing past sales events. It's not a surprise that all these punks with golden chains our estimate pricing is quite similar for those. So it's not so much, we say in the past, the last couple of ones which were similar to this one have sold at that price, and therefore we assume that, if the trend holds firm, everything moves on as it is, continues, then we assume this is going to be the price. You could be asking for this one. And then you can, if you're the owner of such a punk, you can always go down and try to sell it quicker by reducing your price and so forth.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Right, I think we have prepared much more. I'm going to be handing over to Modesta. And Modesta at DappRadar, she's in charge of all our finance activities, but also she's heading up our research team. And Modesta has worked on a multitude of NFT valuation reports, so comes with tons of experience in this area. Modesta, over to you.
Thank you, Patrick. I hope you can see my screen right now.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so let's start. So thank you, Patrick, for the nice introduction. Hello, everyone, once again. It's really nice to be here, first of all. Secondly, right now I'm going to look into the couple of topics, not only into how to value NFTs, but I'll start from the very quick intro of what is happening in NFT space right now. Just want to share with you guys what is interesting and so forth, how we see that at DappRadar and so on, and you can check what do you see yourself happening in the industry. So before we start, most likely some of you know, DappRadar usually prepares quarterly, monthly reports where we actually look into industry itself. We are not looking only into NFTs or games. We are looking into blockchain industry overall, what is happening there. We are looking into some also important categories as DeFi. And I think it's really, really important if you want to have the right journey in terms of NFTs or games. You're supposed to know, first of all, look into industry itself as a whole, because these categories are becoming more and more integrated, and we might see this trend happening going forward more and more. So if you want to check more, there is more insights, more visuals, and so on. Go to DappRadar page report section and enjoy it. So if looking into NFT space, first of all, I'll start looking into the new dapp submitted on DappRadar during 2021, and we definitely see a peak. If you look into Q2, there were more than 260 new dapps submitted to DappRadar page, which means it's a tremendous growth. Comparing with the same period in Q1, we had only 120, so it's tremendous growth, which means developers are reacting what is happening in the industry, reacting to the demand, which just recently appeared, and trying to satisfy these possible users with new collection, interesting collection, and fill this industry with more and more exciting projects. It is important to look into the metrics, and of course there is way more how we can analyze, slice and dice this industry. But I think there are a couple key important metrics to look into. And if you look into the sales volume and count of sales during the same period of time, these two metrics might tell you different stories. Basically, you can go to the two narratives. So if you look into NFT sales, you might say that in the NFT industry crashed or dipped back in April, and it hasn't recovered to March heights. But basically what happened, it was driven by only one project, which is NBA Top Shot, that saw exponential growth and stopped growing due to some technical issues as beta version. But basically what we see the first hype of the NFT industry, and it's not necessarily mean that the NFTs is dead, NFTs doesn't have any future. I think it's very important to look through the couple of KPIs in order to understand what's really happening in the industry. At the same time, count of sales were way different. As we see, despite May, we see quite a nice growth, quite a substantial growth. And in June, count of sales surpassed 4 million line, and it is very nice development. Of course, the count of sales is part of the sales, part of the growth is driven by X Infinity, recent spikes in the activity. Still, other projects also adding in, and we see the nice story, which says to us that count of sales or how many the activity itself is growing. If we would see the usage statistics, this is the same happening. And this is where we might raise a question, are we heading to the mass adoption already? It could be very difficult to answer that yet, but I think we are somewhere in the right road. And the projects like X Infinity, NBA Top Shot and others is really the right road to take and to attract these mass users. Of course, the space was also marked with exceptional sales. Some of them we all know, the Beeple, which was sold the record high for more than 69 million. And of course, there were more CryptoPunks sales, other projects involved. And what we see in Q2 is that some of the, let's see, top sales is slightly lower. Still, they are very exciting. We see Metaverse being climbing into the rankings, into the top rankings of NFT sales, which is also a great news, showing some different trend coming in. When we look into these top sales, you might ask the question, so why someone is willing to pay that much? And however, the value concept is still vague, and it is really might be quite difficult to understand, especially for new people joining the space. Why people are paying so much money, why people are even paying some money. And one maybe funny, let's say, thing to say here, so don't be as Robin, be as Batman, because if the industry explodes, you might regret that. So basically, which brings us, start your understanding journey in the first place, of course. This is why we are here today, to help you to understand, to help you to explain. So start the journey. It is definitely going to help you at least to make a right decision. Right. So this is where maybe we can stop a bit. And if there is any question regarding the first part of the presentation where we spoke about the industry itself, I'm more than happy to answer if there is any.
There's currently none, but Serena.
Yeah, there's no questions right now, but I think people are actually learning a lot about how to evaluate assets, and I think your presentation so far has been very thorough in what are the parameters that you assess when doing evaluation. So I may come up with some questions shortly, and yes, this is a great opportunity for anybody watching that may have questions on how to perform this valuation. To ask them now, since we have Modesta and Patrick here with us.
Yes, of course, go ahead, shoot your questions. Okay, so let's move forward. At DappRadar, we already have a couple of reports where we already evaluate different collection like X Infinity, NFTs, NBA Top Shot, CryptoPunks, Sorare, and many more. We have released around 10 valuation reports so far, and we are about to release more, which means we're really concentrating, we're really trying, of course, first of all, understand ourselves, what is happening, why, answer the question why, but also we are trying to share with the industry, with the community, to help them understand and make the right decision here. And at DappRadar, we think that each collection is really unique, and it might be very difficult to categorize according to some same structure, let's say, because one elements might be more important for other let's say, platforms, other projects than another. Still, we think that there are a couple of elements in order to consider once deciding while valuing or deciding to join some projects. So first of all, brand awareness. So of course, such brands like NBA Top Shots is well known because of because of the NBA itself. Larva Labs also could be mentioned as quite well known into the blockchain space as well as the X Infinity. So brand, of course, plays a role. It's not maybe only the brand that could be a creator, if it's known creator, if it's known in traditional industry and so forth. Addition, size and age. Usually, what we see that less let's say units it's available within a collection, more valuable it is. But also it comes with the age, because if it's just the new collection, we usually see a small evaluation of this collection. If to compare, let's say, CryptoPunks and let's say Meebits, these are the Larva Labs projects. And if to look into the floor price, it's still very different. So the age also gives some additional value. Scarcity and trace, of course, is the elements which you can find in different collections like Sorare or NBA Top Shot. They have different scarcity levels. We have different rates to consider. Utility is the fourth very important element, and I think specifically this element is going to be important in the long run, together with the brand awareness. Utility basically gives the answer to the question. So if I buy NFTs, what I should do with that, or should I print it and put on my wall, or what should I do with that? And the fifth element, community size and strength. Well, this is important for all dApps across the industry. And the final, it could be other elements like wealth activity, trends, beauty elements, the way we perceive what is beautiful, and so on.
Modesta, just to jump into utility, that might be an interesting point also to differentiate across different categories of NFTs. So what we have seen emerging over the last couple of years were different categories. So what we are focusing on here right now is mainly collectibles. But there is a certain overlap with games. So X Infinity, main representant in the games category, NBA Top Shot, somewhere between just a collectible and potentially becoming a game. Similar with CryptoKitties. Just a collectible has a different value proposition or different utilities than a gaming NFT, because the gaming NFT lets you make something or achieve something or has a certain value in the game. And then you have, besides of just collectibles and games, you have categories like real estate or property. An NFT, for example, a property NFT in CryptoVoxel, so decentralized or Somnium space, gives you the right on a certain piece of property where you can build something. Then we have the category of art. So utility is then going to be very different for the type of category your NFT is in. And that's again something that we believe that is we're just at the very beginning, and that these utilities per category are going to vary. And even though perhaps the creator of an NFT hasn't assigned lots of utility to the NFTs that the creator himself has built into, it might be that new parties, and we're starting to see that right now, other parties, external third parties, are adding utility to an NFT, meaning that you have one of the OGs, so one of the old original NFTs like the CryptoPunk and so forth, and just because of holding that one, that opens you opportunities, possibilities in certain third party applications. So you all of a sudden, other parties can influence and add utility to your NFT, and that's something again where we are very early on. Last one on utility is financial. I'm not sure how we should call that, but the ability to monetize or using
earn money basically.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that with very early on this year when the guys, Alex and his team at NFTX, built baskets of NFTs, so for Hashmask and Axes and CryptoPunks and so forth. And all of a sudden, you were providing liquidity to such liquidity pools of NFTs, and all of a sudden you were generating a passive income just by holding NFTs. Extremely fascinating, very early on in this, but that shows how much potential future value still lies, not identified, not yet valued. Value still is in NFTs, which we have not started grasping yet. Modesta, back to you.
Yeah, thank you for the input. Sure, this is a great input, and yeah, it could be, as Patrick said, could be different kind of utilities, and this is very strong element. I think in the long term, because other elements might be more important for the short term. Right, so the case study. So basically we can talk about all the collections, and it would take hours to discuss why they are so interesting, why they are nice, why people buy these collections. As we have a limited time, we have to concentrate on something, and the very first blockchain collection, I think the right collection to concentrate on. So how to value CryptoPunks? There are two ways. So Patrick already showed you there is DappRadar estimator. So if you don't want to spend a lot of time trying to understand, just want to see what is the value, go ahead and use estimator. Still, if you're willing to spend some time on analyzing some elements which are important for the collection, this is the right place for you to discover that. So as I mentioned before, the important point, brand awareness. So we all basically know Larva Labs. It's well-known brand in blockchain space. And what is interesting with this brand, that they have already released 3 different collections. And this gives us the indication that it is continuous project. It is continuous brand, and each collection makes other collection even way stronger. It basically has a coloration because the hype that each new collection might create also might be resulted in the previous collection that were released before. So we believe brand awareness plays basically overall a very important role. And that's why we see CryptoPunks floor price being around $40,000 right now. Edition size and age. This is another element. So the very first, as I mentioned, this is the very first blockchain collection. It is available from 2017. It's already there for 4 years, right? This is important. It means that although this value that we see right now was reached in some time, like basically in 4 years, the age of the collection really gives us gives more value because it's becomes more ancient, more let's say more interesting and so forth. And the limitness here of 10,000 CryptoPunks also helps a lot for the collection. But also I'm showing here the post that I borrowed from Twitter. And this is actually the very interesting answer by Scott Liu, which is the co-founder of DeFi Pulse. This question of edition size basically could be answered in very short sentence: 7 billion human and 10,000 CryptoPunks. Simple as that.
Exactly. You hear similar noise when people are asking why are Bitcoins priced so high. Well, there are just 21 million. There will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins. And some people believe that everyone should at least own one. Well, there's going to be a battle for those limited Bitcoins. So, that justifies if there's such a huge demand for a certain asset, and that asset is limited, as are Bitcoins, and even further CryptoPunks, because CryptoPunks have been the first NFTs out there. You could compare Bitcoins as a first currency with the CryptoPunks as a first NFT collection. Well, that would tell you that CryptoPunks might get valuation levels at some point far higher than they are right now. But that's obviously pure speculation. We believe that Scott here from DeFi Pulse got it exactly right. He understands this. There's a this was the first collection, just a limited amount, and there might be some potential here for that to grow.
I totally agree, and I think when we all talk about this mass adoption, and once mass adoption will come, of course, CryptoPunks might not be the purchase for everyone, but definitely the demand. We might expect the demand for CryptoPunks increasing going forward too. Right. So the first group of to consider scarcity and trades. So within the CryptoPunks, the first thing to really look into is the types of CryptoPunks. So in overall, there are 5 different types of CryptoPunks. According to the type, alien CryptoPunks is the rarest one. And that's why we see the sales close to 7 million or more than 11 million paid for one CryptoPunk, because despite that all these CryptoPunks are unique, these are way more, let's say, unique than the others. And here we see that male is the most commonly met, but this is not it. Type is not the only thing to look into. Another step would be to look into the attributes count. Let's take the male into the consideration. It is being said that in terms of type, it's the most common one. So you would assume that it's maybe the cheapest one. But when we check the attributes, we see that there are only 8 CryptoPunks that has 0 attributes, and there are some male CryptoPunks there. The same with the 7 attributes, because there is only one CryptoPunk that has 7 attributes, which is also male, which gives us an indication that we're supposed to look through these different elements in complex way. The third also important element is attributes. Some of the attributes like Benny, Trucker, and so forth are more rare than others. And for example, there are only 44 Bennies within the collection. So mixing all these 3 elements would help you to make a right decision in order to valuing which of a punk maybe to buy, which of a punk to check, to follow up, and so forth.
One note of caution here, which is Modesta rightly said that scarcity of trades defines valuation, and that's in general is absolutely right. The funny thing is that the community around a certain collection, like CryptoPunks in this case, might value certain traits, certain attributes in a different way than the scarcity says. So there are certain attributes like zombies. So if you have a zombie which I think there are about, I don't know, 180, something there, there might be more zombies around than beanies. I think of the beanies, there are about 40. So there's double the amount of zombies out there, but than the beanies. The zombies are always, in most cases, in all cases that I've seen so far, valued at a higher price by the community than the beanies. So in general, it is absolutely right to say if a trade is rarer, then the price should be higher. The community develops a life on their own, and we see that across most collections, that what the community defines as valuable can sometimes be different than scarcity levels. So just a little bit caution here. The scarcity is not everything. Usually it is the main indicator, but it is not everything.
Yeah, it was actually, excuse me, I have a question, and it was actually kind of related to this, Patrick. And I was just thinking like, okay, we have these attributes, and we can know more easily the amount of attributes each NFT has. But I mean, is there a way to measure how desirable each attribute is? For example, probably people would like a certain type of hat in their CryptoPunks or a certain type of sunglasses. Is there a way to measure this? It's kind of probably a lot more trickier than saying how many attributes they have, but how desirable they are. It might be a totally different study in this case.
It is, and it really depends. It could depend on the trend, you know. So, for example, what we see, even if to look into the attributes, and I'll give you as an example. So, before I start, so basically, how to look into that? We can look into the historical sales, and we can look into the floor price of each punk with the rarest attribute. So, basically, what we can see that the wild blonde CryptoPunk, which is below in the rankings, for example, is way more valuable than let's say blonde shorts punk. It might be because of you know, some trend. It might be with some trend regarding the hairstyle. It might be because of overall, you know, do I see these traits beautiful for me? So of course it is possible to check. It's possible to look through the different perspectives, as I said, through the floor price and through the sales. We also see that punks with the glasses also has increased interest, or with a big bird also might have a higher valuation than some more rare attributes punk, for example.
Sometimes you know the community takes up a life and therefore a valuation trend of their own. All of a sudden, just there might be one whale out there who is keen on blonde long hair, blonde short hair, dark long hair, short, whatever, and that whale starts buying all representatives, all NFTs of that certain type, and that induces even more scarcity to the market. So if somebody's then trying to have a complete collection of everything, it's going to be very hard to find certain types of punks if some whales have identified these special traits, these special attributes as something they want to. If somebody says, I want to have, away from the blondes or the brunettes or whatever, I want to have all the glasses, and they buy these, then good luck getting one on a cheap price. So what happens in the community can have very interesting, funny, or pricey outcomes for the rest.
Yeah, I like what you guys are sharing here, because I think it's interesting to notice how trends become so important in the valuation process. But what interests me is also how do these trends come to life? You know, you said maybe somebody within a community starts something and that triggers something else, and that's kind of like a domino effect. But I'm more curious into like what triggers that kind of like domino effect on the valuation of an NFT. There's also a couple of questions in the live comments that I think we should maybe get to. I don't know, Luis, if you want to pick one, but there's one from Marcus and one from YNWA, which I think it's interesting, which is asking, I'm just pulling on screen, but I think it's an interesting question and comment. Do you feel as though you are adding value by providing such a specific price range for, in this case, CryptoPunks? Does this not feel more like unfairly influencing the price to new potential buyers? Which I think it's an interesting way of seeing things. Once we are putting a price or potential valuation onto an asset, would that play a type of influence on the next buyers?
Very, very fair question. Absolutely, a good question. What we do currently with our pricing is we look at past prices. So it's not something where we come up. So the last 5 or 10 purchases, sales, where we come up with prices ourselves. We just refer to these prices that have happened, And based on those ones, we come up with our estimate. You can argue, if we just look at the last 2 prices, we look at the last 5 prices, the last 10, 20, whatever, that is something that is where we can certainly influence. I'm not sure exactly how many prices we look at and so forth, but there is certainly an element where we influence to a certain extent. I would admit that, but that is not intentional. We just, we had discussions internally how we should come up with fair prices. We base that on past trades, past purchases, and that's our best guess at this point in time. We also, as shown earlier, we at the same point in time, we showed the last price of a certain NFT. We show the floor price. So we're not saying this is the price that it has to be. So we try to put that in perspective.
Understood. Yes. There was a continuation to that question, which was about what metrics do you show regarding the unique wallets transaction into projects? For example, how do you identify or could potentially identify a wash trade?
Yeah, we do not do that for NFTs. We have been quite active at identifying and filtering wash trades in other market segments. And in the early days, 2 or 3 years ago, we had a couple of chains, a couple of blockchains which were heavily inflated by wash trades. We took action there to trying to reflect reality. But this is a very gray market. We were also accused by censorship because what the blockchain says is always true. Well, you can certainly influence that. So it is a certain. We have certainly taken action in the past, trying to represent what we think are real trades, what are not real trades. On other blockchains for NFTs, we have not done that yet. It's also a bit difficult to do that here because just the volume is not there to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I would ask you here, sorry, to what Patrick said. This is a very legit question, and this is what we're also facing when trying, to come up with the right insights. That's why when we do write industry reports, when we do overviews of some specific events happening, when we overview top sales happening in NFTs, we are basically manually trying to check if it's not doesn't look suspicious to us. And this is how we are trying basically to inform the industry, to inform the users about the possible maybe wash trade. We are trying not to before we do and make any announcement in terms of huge sales. We are trying to do our own due diligence. That's why I think it's important not only look into the data but look into the insights we provide. And we really work. We have a great team. We work really hard in order to provide the as let's say clearless as more purest view of what is happening in the industry as possible.
The last comment on this one, the world is not black or white when we look at the blockchain. Yes, there is ones and zeros, that is very true, but it is hard to distinguish between human interaction and bot. And then you can start arguing what is a bot? Is a bot always a wash trade, or can a bot be something that is human driven? Because it has been programmed by humans usually. There are cases where bots perform very legitimate activities. So, black, it's usually from our perspective, it's not always black and white. There's lots of gray. And when you come to bots and wash trading and so forth, that's not always clear cut, and work in progress.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a new technology. So I think it would require everyone's support and efforts to make it as accurate as possible. There was also another, I think, interesting point made by Marcus here, which was asking, do you see DappRadar's valuation system evolving with the DeFi space to include yet to be seen market metrics? How do you see the integration with DeFi metrics?
Yeah, so we are very early on. We've seen a couple of things which look very promising, very fascinating at the beginning of the year, when you had the first time you could provide liquidity to NFT pools. That was clearly a DeFi application of NFTs, or how NFTs could be used in the DeFi setup. I think we're just at the beginning there. I think Aave has announced a couple of weeks back that they're going to be doing something in the space. So when one of those big DeFi players are going to be opening up and offering you to lock up your NFTs and generate value on that behalf, I think we're going to see the next level of innovation happening, and that's going to get very interesting, and that will drive new metrics with it.
Wonderful. Yes, I'll pass it back on to Modesta to conclude on the presentation. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes, thank you, Serena. So you might saw that I skipped some of the slides as we are running out of time. So the closing word would be that I think some important things to consider here, that we're supposed to really orient to the continuous learning on the evaluation and the impact of different factors. And as being said before, all the collections supposed to be looked through the complex view. We're supposed to value everything, like more objective criteria, like past sales and so forth, which we basically can measure, and more subjective criteria like opinions, trends, maybe some whale activity. This is really, really important. And what we also think that the value perception might change over time, and I also personally believe that utility will become more and more important. So especially for the long run, the continuous, like for the brand itself, for the collection, I think it's also important, of course, to keep the brand visible. This is the key areas I would orient, and other elements would be include like additional elements to look into. And finally, if you want to start your learning journey, DappRadar is the right place for you. You can check out our blog. We just released very interesting overviews. You can also find there our valuation reports, because I didn't have enough time for you to explain everything what I wanted. And we have around 10 valuation reports, so go ahead and check it. They are really a bit different, one more. Some of them are more interesting than others might be, right? Depending how popular the collection is. But still, go ahead, try it, read it. If you need, contact us. We will help you. I think having a discussion once you try to figure out your own understanding how to value NFTs is also very, 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 very welcomed. And at DappRadar, we really value also the feedback. So we can join on the discussion. Come to us. Community really matters to us. All the members really matters to us. So thank you. Thank you for now.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us today. And thank you to the wonderful audience, as always, for the very important questions raised. And thank you to Patrick and Modesta for joining us. So once again, visit dappradar.com. And for any questions, comments, you want to check out the BGA and follow our news for more insight onto the gaming industry on blockchain. Thanks again, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for organizing.
See you next week.
Thanks a lot, Serena. Thanks, Luis. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Bye.
Modesta.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.